So the angelic realm is headed by the archangels. The archangels are real. They're not made up, Bible story souls. The archangels head and coordinate the angelic realm with the lead archangel being Archangel Michael. But think about, you might say, well, Linda, how many archangels are there? Even when I've asked Maitreya, the soul that Earl channels, Maitreya says, it's hard to say. Maitreya will say sometimes there's 10, sometimes there's 12. So think about the nameable archangels, Michael, Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel, Metatron, Jophiel, but there are others whose names really would have no meaning to you. And if you are an angelic realm soul, you are either guided by your higher self, and about 80 to 85% of all ARs are guided by their higher self. You also might be guided by one of the archangels, and that happens too. So there's more I could say, but and I'll take over your job. Earl, do you want
Okay.
to jump
Yep.
in and talk about archangels?
I certainly am. Many of my channeling clients who happen to be interplanetary souls or Earth-based souls talk about their guidance that they receive, often from their higher self, and we'll talk a bit more about higher selves in a few minutes. But then some will say, "Yeah, but I feel the energy of Michael. I feel the energy of Gabriel." What we've come to learn is that some of the archangels, certainly not all of them, actually guide interplanetary souls and Earth based souls. Not always as the primary guide, but when a client really feels and knows, and it's been verified they're an interplanetary soul, and yet they just, all their life, they've had this connection to Michael or this connection to Gabriel. Often it comes through that those souls have decided to step up and serve as a guide during this incarnation for the client. So it's important to note that just because you have this connection with one of the archangels doesn't necessarily mean that your soul origin is the angelic realm. So I wanted to say that. And the other thing that's notable is that some of the archangels incarnate into human bodies. They don't all do that, but we have very strong information from both Linda's regression work and channeling work that particularly Michael and Gabriel have soul incarnations on Earth to help planet Earth evolve. Because there's only so much they can do from the realm where they're spirit. Because so much of what has to happen on planet Earth, change has to happen on planet Earth, and not from one of the other, either the spiritual realm, angelic realm, whatsoever. So I just wanted to say, in terms of your own example, as you think about your guidance, think about connections you may or may not have with archangels. And just because you have a really strong connection with one of the archangels, it could mean that you're from the angelic realm, but it may not be. It may be that your soul has connected for guidance from an angelic realm soul, an archangel soul. Okay, that's all I wanted to say about that.
So as you think about the angelic realm, just try as best you can to take it out of it doesn't have to be a religious perspective. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. And think about that source, the Manu, needs. The word that comes to me is soldiers. They need, actually, better word, emissaries. And um, all of the angelic realm are their emissaries, but the coordinating emissaries are the archangels.